Good evening, tropical fish keepers. Welcome to Life in the Amazon, hosted by me, South American tropical fish keeper and monster fish hobbyist, Aqua Alex Cardinale. I hope you're enjoying your day, and I hope you're enjoying the aquarium hobby. On this week's episode of Life in the Amazon, I am going to be talking about two catfish families that call South America and the Amazon River home. These catfish families have over 100 species in each family. Now, South America is home to many catfish species, from the monsters like tiger shovelnose and red-tailed cats to the medium-sized catfish like the ornate pims and the lima shovelnose to the dwarf catfish like the Corydoras catfish. Today, I am going to be talking about Corydoras catfish, and I'm also going to be talking about plecos, otocinclus, and farowella catfish, which are also known as Loricariidae. So hopefully I pronounced their scientific name right. I always get confused with their scientific name. But today we're going to talk about Corydoras catfish and suckermouth catfish, which include plecos, otos, and farella catfish. So we're going to talk about Loricariidae catfish as well. So, what are your favorite Corydoras catfish species? What are your favorite Loricariidae species? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear about your favorite Cory cat species and your favorite Loricariidae species. And if I'm pronouncing the Loricariidae name wrong, go ahead and laugh at me. It's okay, because sometimes I butcher these scientific names badly, and it's okay because I laugh at myself when I do it anyway. So, my dear friend who's no longer with us, Lynn Mathney, a Corydoras breeder, and I know she would love today's episode if she could be here. She'd love to be a special guest on our show today, but unfortunately, she's no longer with us. She passed away a couple of years ago. So today's episode of Life in the Amazon is going to be dedicated to my friend Lynn Mathney, a late great Corydoras breeder. Now, Lynn bred several different species of Corydoras. I know she was famous for breeding the green and gold laser Cory cats. I believe she also bred Sturbi Corydoras and the regular common Corydoras aeneas, as well as several other species of Corydoras catfish. So she loved her Corys, and she taught me a lot about Corydoras catfish. All right. So having said that, let's go ahead and get this fun show started. And I want to start by talking about my personal favorite Corydoras catfish species. Now, I've only kept a number of Corydoras catfish. I've kept panda Corydoras catfish. I've kept July Corydoras catfish. I've kept leopard Corydoras catfish, and I've kept brocious cats. Now, brocious catfish are a larger cousin of the Corydoras catfish. There are a lot of Cory cats out there, and there are so many of them that I want to keep. But like I said, I've only kept about 4 or 5 species of Cory catfish. So my favorite, all-time favorite Corydoras catfish species are as follows. My dream Corydoras cat is the Sturbi Corydoras. This is a beautiful Corydoras catfish, and it's the crown jewel of Cory cats, in my personal opinion. It's a great tank mate for angelfish aquariums and discus aquariums because it can handle higher temperatures. Another crown jewel Corydoras species that's on my wish list of Corys to keep is the Adolphi Corydoras. It looks similar to the Panda Cory, but it's much prettier and much, much more expensive. But it's a very nice Corydoras. I also like the July Corydoras catfish. I like the leopard Corydoras catfish. I like the panda Corydoras catfish. Those are all very nice Cory cats. Another dream Corydoras catfish of mine would be the gold laser Corydoras cat. That one is very nice. And my last favorite Corydoras catfish would be the brocious Cory cat. I really enjoy the brocious Corys. Those are the Corys that get to be about 4 inches or larger, and they're perfect to go in a 75-gallon, 125, etc., with discus and angelfish and other large growing community species. So those are my favorite Corydoras species. Post your favorite in the comments. So let's get right into the show and start learning about Corydoras. We're going to talk about Corydoras cats first. So here is what to know about Corydoras catfish. Now, Corydoras are a catfish species from this family. Now, I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm going to put its family up on the screen. The Corydoras cat is a member of this family of catfish. Now, this family of catfish includes the Corydoras, Aspidoras, and the Hapalo catfish as well. The flagtail porthole catfish and the Hapalo catfish is also in this family. So the Corydoras catfish is a member of that family, and it's also a member of the subfamily of Corydoradini. Corydoradini is the subfamily for Corydoras catfish. Now, Corydoras species are distributed in South America, where they can be found from the east of the Indies to the Atlantic coast, from Trinidad to the Rio de la Plata drainage in northern Argentina. So you'll find Corys in Peru, Brazil, Venezuela, Colombia, all over South America. You will find Corydoras catfish. Species assigned to Corydoras display a broad diversity of body shapes and coloration. Corydoras are small fish ranging from 1 inch to 4.7 inches in length. So they are a very small catfish. They are protected from predators by their body armor and by their sharp, typically venomous spines. The Corydoras catfish is a venomous catfish. And this is something that I learned from the late, great Corydoras breeder, Lynn Mathney. If you ever purchase Corydoras from the local fish store and they get bagged up and the Corydoras catfish die on the way home, it's because their fins release some of that venom in the bag, and that venom is deadly to cory cats and other fish, and it will kill whatever fish is in that water. So when the employee is selecting your Corydoras catfish, you should have the employee stress out the cory as much as possible in the aquarium and then place it in the bag, if that makes sense. So anyway, the name Corydoras is derived from the Greek Cory, which means helmet, and Doris, which means skin. Corydoras is by far the largest genus of neotropical fish with more than 160 species. Several hundred species are not yet classified, but are kept by aquarists. These species are given C numbers, originally devised by Hans Gerd Evers for the German fish keeping magazine DATS in 1993. In 2006, 153 C numbers had been assigned, of which 32 had been assigned appropriate scientific names. Brocius had been differentiated from Corydoras due to the higher number of dorsal fin rays, however. Brocius has recently been suggested to be a synonym of Corydoras. This is contested and has not been universally accepted. The sixth grade Corydoras belongs in Aspidoras. Corydoras are generally found in smaller sized streams along the margins of larger rivers, in marshes, and in ponds. They are native to slow moving and almost still, but seldom stagnant streams and small rivers of South America where the water is shallow and very murky. Most species are bottom dwellers, foraging in sand, gravel, or detritus. The banks and sides of the streams are covered with a dense growth of plants, and this is where the Corydoras are found. They inhabit a wide variety of water types, but tend towards soft, neutral to slightly acidic or slightly alkaline pH and 5 to 10 degrees of hardness. They can only tolerate a small amount of salt. Some species tolerate none at all and do not inhabit environments with tidal influences. They are often seen in shoals. Most species prefer being in groups, and many species are found in schools or aggregations of hundreds or even thousands of individuals, usually a single species, but occasionally with other species mixed in. And in the aquarium hobby, you can mix different cory species. They'll get along just fine, and I think it looks cool that way. Unlike most catfish, which are nocturnal, Corydoras catfish species are active during the daytime, which is pretty cool. Corydoras are capable of breathing both water and air, often swimming to the surface to quickly ingest air before resubmerging. The frequency of this air breathing behavior increases when Corydoras are exposed to water with low oxygen availability, allowing them to tolerate periods of aquatic hyphaexia. Their main food is bottom-dwelling insects and insect larvae and various worms, as well as some vegetable matter. Although no Corydoras species are fishivorous, they will eat flesh from dead fish. Their feeding method is to search the bottom with their sensory barbels and suck up food items with their mouth, often burying their snout up to their eyes. Corydoras species have bony plates of armor and strong venomous spines as defenses, making them less palatable for wannabe predators. Corydoras catfish are well known among aquarists for its many ornamental species. They are well suited to tropical freshwater community aquariums as they get along with other species and are not aggressive. Corydoras are quite timid and are recommended to be kept in shoals of 6 or more. They are mostly bottom feeders, so they should be offered sinking pellets as well as supplements of live and frozen foods. If flake foods are used, care should be taken to prevent all food from being eaten by faster moving fish at the higher levels of the aquarium. Most Corydoras prefer soft, acidic water. They can, however, tolerate a wide range of water conditions, including temperatures that are cooler than tropical. They do not do well in fish tanks with high nitrate levels. This ion leads to the affection of the barbels, which will shorten and become useless. The barbels may also be affected by constant contact with a sharp substrate. Contrary to popular belief, these fish can be kept in a tank with gravel as long as there are no sharp edges on the gravel without affecting their barbels, although they do prefer sand substrate. They are more likely to thrive if there is an open area of substrate on the bottom of the aquarium where they can attain submerged food. It is a myth that salt cannot be used on this species of fish as a means of parasite medication. Salt can be added to the water of the Corydoras catfish in order to rid the fish of ick. These fish are fairly easy to keep, being peaceful, hardy, active, and entertaining. Occasionally, they will dart to the surface, sticking their snout above the water for an instant to take a breath of air. This behavior is perfectly normal and is not an indication that anything is wrong with the fish. However, if this is done in excess, it can indicate poor water conditions. Corydoras are a very popular choice for a community aquarium and are widely kept throughout the world. Their longevity in the aquarium is noteworthy. Corydoras aeneas is said to have lived 27 years in captivity, and 20 years is not too uncommon. So that is some information to know about the Corydoras catfish. Some pretty good information to know about the Corydoras catfish. So now let's learn about the most commonly available Corydoras species available to tropical fish keepers in the freshwater hobby. So, according to my research, these cories are the most commonly kept Corydoras species in the aquarium hobby. The first one is the Corydoras aeneas, or the aeneas cory. This one is obvious because there's an albino version of it. So it's the bread and butter Corydoras, so to speak. Up next is the July and false July Corydoras. These are very beautiful quarries. Up next, we have the panda quarries. The panda quarries are very nice. I was surprised to find that stir-by quarries are the most commonly kept Corydoras species as well, because stir-by cories are a little bit expensive and they tend to like higher water temperatures. But a lot of people do enjoy the stir-by cories. Bandit cories are also commonly kept, and gold and orange laser Corydoras are ones that are commonly kept in the aquarium hobby as well. They are very nice cory cats as well. So let's talk about keeping Corydoras catfish in home aquariums. Now, Corydoras catfish are smaller catfish, ranging in size from 1 inches to 4 inches. So their tank size depends on the species, but their tank size is going to be 10 gallons and larger. And obviously, these are a schooling catfish. You cannot keep them singly or as a pair or as a trio. It is advised to have at least 4, 5, 6, 7. So in their native habitat, cory cats scavenge the substrate for worms, larvae, and small insects. They will dig into the substrate with their mouth and suck up the food, often digging so deep that much of their face can actually be covered. They will also gladly eat vegetable matter that falls into the water. In the aquarium hobby, cory cats will eat just about anything, but sinking pellets are the best food to mimic their natural wild diet and allow them to be scavengers. Bottom feeder tablets, shrimp pellets, and algae wafers are also good choices, although being omnivorous means they will accept flakes as well. And Daphnia and bloodworms are excellent treats to feed the Corydoras catfish as well. Keep them in groups as they are schooling fish, as I mentioned. That is very important. Cory cats are schooling catfish and they need to be kept in groups. Now, Corydoras cats have toxic spines. Their toxins can kill other cories and themselves and other fish. So always keep that in mind. Try not to overstress a Corydoras catfish aquarium because they can release those toxins and it can kill an entire aquarium. So good tank mates for Corydoras cats would be angelfish, discus, tetras, other Corydoras species, pretty much anything that does not grow big enough to eat a Corydoras cat will get along with the cory cat. Bad tank mates for Corydoras obviously would be Oscars or other large predatory fish because they will either eat the Corydoras or die trying, and the Corydoras fins will get stuck in the Oscar's mouth. But you don't want to put Corydoras with larger fish because it'll end up being a terrible, terrible situation, and it's one that can be avoided. So don't keep them with anything big enough to eat Corydoras. All right. So now is the fun part about talking about Corydoras cats. I get to show off some images of cory cats. So let's take a look at some of the cooler Corydoras cats that are out there. Here is a poster of some of the more commonly available cory cats that are available in the aquarium hobby. You can see some Corydoras aeneas there. There's a salt and pepper Corydoras. There's a gold laser Corydoras. There's also a dwarf Corydoras, the first one you see at the top. That's a pygmy Corydoras, which is great for a nano aquarium. Now, this is one of my favorite Corydoras. This is the Corydoras stirbi, or the stirbi Corydoras. This is one that I have to get for my community aquarium. I'm going to save up some money and get a whole group of stirbi cories because I definitely love them. These are some July Corydoras. These cory cats are pretty cool as well, if I can get the image to show. There we go. These July Cories are very nice. As you can see, they have lines on them. They're also known as the three-lined Corydoras catfish. And then we have a picture of a panda Corydoras. As you can see, the panda Corydoras is very, very gorgeous. A white body with black stripes. That's why it's called the panda Cory. Here are some common albino Aeneas Corydoras cats. These are very nice as well. The Aeneas Cories are nice. I like the albino version. But now I'm going to show you my all-time favorite Corydoras cat, and not because it's a large monster Cory, but this is known as the hog-nosed Cory, aka Brocious. Look how nice the Brocious Corydoras cat looks. The Brocious Cory cat will grow anywhere from 3.5 to 4 inches, making it one of the largest Cories out there. And here's a better picture of a Brocious Cory cat. Very, very cool catfish. So those are some images of Corydoras catfish. So fish keepers, what Corydoras do you have in your home aquarium? Let me know in the comments what Corydoras cats you are currently keeping. Unfortunately, at the moment, I don't have any Corydoras cats, but I do plan on getting some Corydoras cats in the very near future. They're a very fun catfish to keep. All right, I think it's time to take a quick intermission. During this intermission, you're going to hear a word from our supporters. When I come back from this quick intermission, we are going to talk about the plecos and suckermouth catfish from the Loricariidae family. So stay tuned because coming up next, we're going to talk about Loricariidae catfish, also known as plecos and suckermouth. Life in the Amazon continues right after this. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Are you a tropical fish keeper living in South Florida? You need to check out Aquatic and Exotic in Stuart, Florida. Aquatic and Exotic is home to quality freshwater and saltwater tropical fish. You will find African cichlids, South and Central American cichlids, goldfish and koi, and exotic fish. We also supply aquarium supplies like filters and heaters, aquariums, and lights. We also have quality fish food brands. Aquatic and Exotic is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Questions? Give us a call at 772-781-4046. Stop on by and check us out. 1525 A.C.E. Lockhart Street, Stuart, Florida 34994.
Aqua Alex here, and I'm proud to partner with Little Egypt Aquarium Club. Little Egypt Aquarium Club was founded by my friend Jeremy Stellhorn. Little Egypt Aquarium Club provides aquarium hobbyists with quality aquarium supplies. You will find sponge filters, pleco caves, and so much more. Little Egypt Aquarium Club also has quality fish foods. You'll find things like rapashi. Rapashi is a name brand fish food, perfect for placostomus, community fish, and even monster fish. You'll find medicated fish foods as well. Aqua Alex and Jeremy Stellhorn are teaming up to save you some money. If you use my discount code, which is Alex, you will get 10% off your order. So go to littleegyptaquariumclub.com right now, place an order, and use coupon code Alex, and you will save 10% on your order. Now back to the fish chat. It's the one and only Aqua Alex Cardinale here, inviting you to be a part of the August 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A. If you have any freshwater or saltwater questions that you would like me, Aqua Alex, to answer, please email them to alexgoyankiescardinale19@gmail.com. The August 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A is going to air live Sunday, August 28th, 2022 at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on my YouTube channel, The Legendary Alex Cardinale. I will answer your fish keeping questions. I also have some fun topics planned. I'm going to talk about how to safely move with aquariums and tropical fish. I'll talk about snail eating fish like clown loaches, and I will talk about how to diagnose and cure ick. Also, there's the Fish Keeper show off this month, and I'm going to show off my new 55-gallon aquarium with some of the fish that are behind me. Send photos and videos of your aquarium to alexgoyankiescardinale19@gmail.com for the Fish Keepers show off. I will see you Sunday, August 28th, 2022, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Email your fish keeping questions and photos and videos of your fish to alexgoyankiescardinale19@gmail.com. Welcome back to Life in the Amazon, episode 14. Today we are talking about Corydoras catfish and suckermouth catfish, aka Loricariidae catfish. Before our commercial break, I discussed Corydoras catfish. So if you're just tuning in now, don't worry. You can rewatch the beginning of this episode when it archives, and you can learn about Corydoras catfish then. Right now, we are going to talk about Loricariidae catfish, also known as plecos and suckermouth catfish. So we're going to start by talking about my favorite Loricariidae species. So my first favorite Loricariidae species is a pleco that is known as the marble sailfin pleco, also known as a gibby pleco. Now, this is a large growing pleco, but not as large as the common pleco. The marble sailfin pleco generally will max out at about 16 to 18 inches, so it can be kept in a 6-foot aquarium and larger. It's a lot prettier than the common pleco as well. We'll see that a little bit later on. My next favorite suckermouth catfish would be the L200 green phantom pleco. Very pretty fish. The L128 blue phantom pleco is also a very pretty pleco. L114 and L600 leopard cactus plecos are a favorite of mine. Very, very beautiful. I like the L191 dual-eyed royal pleco. Those are very nice, as well as the L27 royal pleco. And I like the common small Otocinclus catfish. A very nice algae eater for a nano aquarium because they do stay relatively small and they would get eaten with angelfish. I'm sure angelfish can eat them. Discus would eat them, but the Otocinclus would be nice in a tank. Let's say a 15-gallon planted tank with tetras. It would be great in there because it would take care of the algae that is in that aquarium. So let's talk about what to know about Loricariidae or suckermouth catfish. So here is what to know about this species. Loricariidae is actually the largest family of catfish with 92 genera and just over 680 species. That is a lot. Loricariidae originate from freshwater habitats of Costa Rica, Panama, and tropical and subtropical South America. They're all over South America. They're from Peru, Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, etc. These fish are noted for the bony plates covering their bodies, and they're also known for their sucker mouth. Several species are sold as plecos, notably the suckermouth catfish, which is known as Hypostomus plecostomus, and are popular as aquarium fish. Members of the family Loricariidae are commonly referred to as loricids, suckermouth armored catfish, or armored catfish. The name plecostomus and its shortened forms pleco and plec are used for many Loricariidae catfish, since plecostomus, now called Hypostomus plecostomus, was one of the first loricid species imported for the fish keeping hobby. Some loricids are not normally considered plecostomus, such as the forella twig catfish. Some types of loricids are often referred to by their L number. This has become common since imports of loricid catfish from South America often include specimens that had not been taxonomically described. Currently, L numbers are used not only by fish keeping enthusiasts, but also by biologists, since they represent a useful stopgap until a new species of fish is given a full taxonomic name. In some cases, two different L numbered catfish have turned out to be different populations of the same species, like the phantom plecos, while in other cases, multiple but superficially similar species have all been traded under a single L number. This is the largest catfish family, including about 684 species in around 92 genera, with new species being described each year. I wonder what new loricid cat will be described this year. However, this family is in flux and revisions are likely. The family Loricariidae is vastly distributed over both the east and west sides of the Andes Mountains. However, most species are generally restricted to small geographic range. They are primarily found in freshwater habitats of South America, but several of these species are native to Panama, and two species are native to Costa Rica. Species occur in swift flowing streams from the lowlands up to 3,000 meters, 9,800 feet in elevation. They can also be found in a variety of other freshwater environments. One of the most obvious characteristics of the loricids is the sucker mouth. The modified mouth and lips allows the fish to feed, breathe, and attach to the substrate through suction. The lips were once believed to be unable to function as a sucker while respiration continued, as the inflowing water would cause the system to fail. However, respiration and suction can function simultaneously. Inflowing water passing under the sucker is limited to a thin stream immediately behind each maxillary barbel. The sucker mouth exhibited by these catfish allows them to adhere to objects in their habitats, even in fast flowing waters. The mouth and teeth also are adapted to feed on a variety of foods, such as algae, invertebrates, and detritus. Some species, notable the panicu, like the royal plecos, are known for exophagy, or the ability to digest wood. Most species of lorisids are nocturnal animals. Some species are territorial, while others, such as Otocinclus, prefer to live in groups. Air breathing is well known among many lorisids. This ability is dependent on the risk of hypoxia faced by a species. Torrent dwelling species tend to have no ability to breathe air, while lowland pool dwelling species, such as those of Opostomus, have a great ability to breathe air. Some plecos and lorisid catfish can survive 30 hours out of water. That is incredible, but definitely I would never want to try doing that because it is cruel to the fish. All right, so let's talk about some of the most commonly available lorisid species. Obviously, plecos are commonly available. We've got our common pleco, which could be a number of species, from Opostomus to the rhino plecos to gibby sailfin plecos. There's a lot of plecos that are sold under the common pleco name. And then we have fancy plecos like the green phantom, blue phantom, gold nugget pleco, cactus pleco, and all the other fancy plecos that are out there. They're all very costly as well. A lot of fish keepers love collecting the fancy plecos. But of the fancy plecos, the ones that I tend to see more of are the green phantom and the blue phantom plecos. I see royal plecos very frequently, usually L190, but my favorite royal is the L191 dual-eyed royal pleco. That occasionally does come into the aquarium hobby. And then for non-plecos, of course, there's Otocinclus, and they're very popular in the aquarium hobby as well. And then there is the Forella twig catfish as well. So keeping these guys in the home aquariums, very simple. Loricariidae catfish are very hardy fish. Most plecos and other loricariidae catfish will adapt to a home aquarium. However, you do have to keep in mind that many different species of loricariidae have different diets. Some may be herbivorous, relying on algae and vegetable matter, while some may be omnivorous, relying on vegetable matter and meats, and some may have a diet for wood and herbivorous foods as well. So I always recommend people, if they want to get into fancy plecos and plecos in general, research their diet so you know what you need to feed them in order for them to thrive in the home aquarium. I have found the number one reason why fancy plecos and plecos in general don't survive many aquariums is because they were never provided the accurate diet. In the wild, these plecos would get whatever nutrients they need. So we need to make sure that we are providing the loricariidae catfish an accurate diet. So make sure to research that. Again, there is a lot of species from this family, and there's a variety of size ranges that these species can get. You've got the small Otocinclus that will max around 2 or 3 inches at the most, and then you've got the common pleco that can get 2 or 3 feet. You've got the Adonis pleco that gets mastered like 3 or 4 feet. So you really have to research what pleco or suckermouth catfish is right for your aquarium. Other than that, these guys will adjust to your aquarium, and they're a really fun catfish to keep. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about for the Loricariidae catfish is I want to show you some images of some of the awesome plecos that I was talking about on today's show. So here is the Farlowella twig cat, a very interesting, unique looking catfish, very kind of cool as well. He looks awesome. Here is the Otocinclus catfish. Again, these guys are like Corydoras. They need to be kept in schools in order for them to be happy and healthy. Here is the marble sailfin gibby pleco that I was talking to you guys about. Isn't this pleco a beauty? Isn't it a beaut? Very, very gorgeous. If I can find one, a juvenile one, I would happily grow one out for my big tank. Here is a rhino pleco. It looks similar to the marble sailfin pleco. It's in the same family as the marble sailfin pleco. So these next photos are photos of fancy plecos that I had. So here is a royal plecostomus that I had. This royal plecostomus is known as the watermelon variant. Very, very beautiful. Here is a green phantom pleco that I once had. He's loving his driftwood there. This is a very, very nice pleco. I love the green phantom pleco. And then here is a dual-eyed royal pleco that I had. Not the best photo, but also remember this photo was over 10 years old. So back then we didn't have great cameras. And then here is another dual-eyed royal pleco I had. I believe that's the same dual-eyed royal pleco, just in a smaller quarantine aquarium. So that's my royal pleco. Very, very nice fish. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about the Corydoras catfish and the Loricariidae catfish. This was a very fun episode of Life in the Amazon. I definitely had an amazing time. All right. So, on the next episode of Life in the Amazon, I'm going to start something new. I'm going to start talking about South American biotopes. And I'm going to have a couple of scenarios. The first scenario will be a community biotope. The second scenario will be a monster biotope. So each episode, we're going to focus on a particular area of South America. So on the next episode of Life in the Amazon, we're going to focus on Peru. So on the next episode, we will talk about creating Peruvian biotopes. I cannot wait to do that. That is going to be a fun episode of Life in the Amazon. Also, don't forget, this month's Fish Keepers Q&A, Ask Aqua Alex Live, airs next Sunday, August 28th, 2022, at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you tune in to get your fish keeping questions answered and enjoy the fun show. And if you're a new viewer, don't be afraid to subscribe to my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. I've got some amazing fish keeping videos coming your way, but I also do other topics like wrestling, cooking and baking, crime, tragedy, and more. So, with that being said, I'd like to thank you for watching this episode of Life in the Amazon, hosted by me, South American fish keeper, Aqua Alex. Have a great rest of your day. I value your view. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button and share this video on social media. Happy fish keeping, everybody. And remember, clean water equals happy, healthy fish. Feed a high quality diet and do plenty of water changes. Good night, everybody.